Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Raw Unfiltered Stories with Pat. This week, we're going to go back to the last century. 1998 spring break. This was when I was stationed at Fort Benning, Georgia, now Fort Moore. We decided, me and a bunch of friends, decided to go to Panama City. It's like a 3.5 hour, 4 hour drive, I think, down there. So we were planning this out. We had like a 4-day weekend for it. Gonna take 2 cars down there. Car and a Jeep, actually. There's 5 of us. There's me, my buddy Mike, my buddy Dave, my buddy Frank, and my buddy Joe. We all plan on going down there and, we're deciding who's riding with whom, whatever. And so in Mike's Jeep, Mike had just bought this Jeep. In Mike's Jeep, it was me, Dave, and Mike. I was in the back seat. Those two were in the front. And then in Frank's car, it was Frank and Joe riding down there. Now, Joe and Frank really didn't know each other too well. They were like kind of like different circles of friends that, like a Venn diagram. And me, Dave, and Mike all met in the middle. And they were tertiary friends on either side. Anyway, so those two were riding together. So I hop into Mike's Jeep and I sit down, and there was a towel over the back seat. And I sit down and the back seat wobbles. And I was like, what the hell? And I look. We were already on the road, and I look, and I'm sitting on a fucking cooler. His Jeep didn't have a back seat. 3.5 hour drive, I'm riding on a goddamn Coleman. No seatbelt, no nothing. No doors, no roof. We were partying hard for people in their early 20s. So we get down there, and everything's going fine and stuff. And like I said, Mike had just bought this Jeep, and we're running up and down the strip, and we're cramming 5 people into the car, into the Jeep, and we're driving up and down the strip, and woo, being stupid, and all that stuff. And then at one point, we had actually met up with. There were 5 girls that were down there that were all around our age. We're all single guys. They were all single girls. And we're hanging. We're just kind of hanging out during the day and BSing and stuff, and. We're like, hey, we're going to go to Club La Vila later. And they're like, so are we. We'll all meet up. We're talking. We're like, hey, there's 5 of the girls. There's 5 of us. Wow, that's perfect. So we get to Club La Vila. We're drinking and hanging out and stuff. And the girls show up. And only 4 of them showed up. And everybody paired off. Except for me. And they're my dumbass. And like I said in my previous story, I was a fucking goober when I was younger. I mean, I'm still a goober now, but I'm self-aware. I thought I was cool back then. Yeah, I was a goober. I was 6'2" and like 150 pounds. Just this lanky ass and pale motherfucker out the wazoo. But I thought I was hot shit at the time. But, had all the the 4 girls show up, and they pair up with the guys and walk away, and there's my dumb ass just kind of walking around this club in Panama City, not knowing fucking anybody, and I'm just walking around drinking, getting drunk, getting shit-faced, trying to talk to people. I remember Club La Vila had this big fucking Lords of Acid fucking mural, basically. It was like one of their album covers, and they had it painted on the wall. And I think I stood there and stared at it for like 15 minutes. So, yeah. Eventually the girls like leave, go off, and all the guys are together and tried to do the kid and play dance, which if you're somebody around my age, you know what the kid and play dance is. I have absolutely no rhythm, so I'm trying to do this with Frank, and Frank can actually kind of fucking dance and stuff. A, I have no rhythm. B, I'm way too fucking drunk, so it's not happening and stuff. Kind of look like a baby horse when it's taking its first steps. You're not sure if it's gonna fall over or not. So we leave, we go back to the campsite. We had brought tents and stuff, because we figured out we had gone down the year prior, and hotels were just outrageous. It was like $300, $400 for like a fucking, you know, shithole. But if you go to the KOA campground, you can rent a campground for like $30. So we go down there. Well, we got down there so late that we didn't even set up the campground. Literally, we just sleep on the ground. We actually got a fine and kicked out because we didn't set up a tent. So we had to find another campground. The other campground we find is like 5 miles away. But it's all good and stuff. And we're like, you know, we're going to party one more day and then head home. So we're hanging out, we're partying. Well, then tensions between Frank and Joe are kind of building up and stuff. And, you know, there's little snide comments here and there between each other. And we're like, hey, guys, just chill out and stuff. We end up going to Club La Vila again to party. Now, if you don't know Club La Vila, I mean, this place is fucking huge. If you watch, like, the old Spring Break episodes from MTV, they were filmed at Club La Vila. You know, just they had a pool outside. It was like 3 levels. I mean, just, you know, insane. It was like a Costco of bars. I mean, just giant. So we go to Club La Vila again, and we're hanging out and partying and stuff, and still tensions building between Joe and Frank, and fucking something snapped, and fucking Frank just hauls off and just starts fighting Joe. You know, they're pushing and shoving, and you just whap, whap, throws a couple punches. We break it up, and Frank storms off. He had driven to the club. He storms off and got in his car, and he's fucking left. Well, we didn't know he had left. We just thought he went outside to, like, cool off, or went out to the parking lot to cool off or something. So we go out to the parking lot. His car's not there. Where the fuck is Frank? Car's gone. The cooler that we were sitting on was at the campsite, so there was no back seat to anything. So we were like, well, shit. Mike's like, well, I could drive back to the campsite. I could drop you, you know, and just run back and forth. We could have fit 1 person in the back, but not 2. And so Joe's in a pissy mood and stuff. He's like, I was like, hey, I'll walk back with Joe. We're both drunk off our fucking rockers. Like, yeah, we'll walk back to the campsite. You know, it was just right down the main strip and stuff. I was like, yeah, we'll walk back. We'll meet you guys back there, you know, give Joe time to cool down. We'll be back in half an hour. Because I was fucking drunk and I didn't realize we were 5 miles away and having 2 people walk down the fucking highway at 2 in the morning. So we go walking down, and it was about an hour into the walk that I realized this is going to be a while. But I remember on the walk, I look down and I see a $20 bill, and it was like folded in thirds, so, you know. And I was like, holy shit. And I pick it up and I go to pull it, and nothing happens. It's like, what the fuck? And it was just like a third and a third in like the middle. So I thought it was folded in, and I flip it over and it says, are you disappointed? Jesus is in you. What? I don't get that. I don't understand why. I don't get the whole fear thing in religion. I mean, you know, I thought God was supposed to be a loving God and not scare the shit out of you or make you feel guilty. Oh, you should be disappointed you found $20. If Jesus found $20 on the ground, I'm sure he'd pick it up. He might use it for different reasons, but I'm pretty sure he'd pick it up. So we get back to the campsite and Frank is gone. He's fucking gone. He's got some of our shit in his car too. So we fucking go to sleep and stuff. A couple of us slept in the Jeep. A couple of us slept in the little tent we made. I think Dave slept on the ground, just right on the ground again. We wake up, we pack up and stuff, and we're heading home. Now on the way down there, when we were driving down there, Mike's Jeep, and he had just bought this, like I said, Mike's Jeep went like, bah, 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 bah. Like, what the fuck? Cleared out, you know, and everything was fine, you know. Well, we're driving back, and we stop in Dothan, Alabama. Now, on the ride back, Joe and I are sharing the cooler now. if it wasn't safe before, or if it was unsafe before. So yeah, Joe and I are sitting on the cooler in the back. Get to Dothan, Alabama. We stop at a Arby's and get some lunch and stuff, and then we go to start the car again, and or start the Jeep. Nothing's happening. Like, what the fuck? Open it up and stuff, and we can see a crack in the head. Like, oh shit, his fucking Jeep is toast. Can't get it started. Now, like I said, this is 98, no cell phones. So we have to call our sergeant, trying to remember numbers, because we don't have any fucking phone numbers saved. Luckily, one of the guys knew his fucking sergeant's number, so we call him, and it's his, it's a Sunday, it's his day off, and we had that Monday off as well. So it was that Sunday, and he was like, I'm not going to be able to come out there till tomorrow. Fuck. So we're broke down. We really don't have a lot of money and stuff, because we blew it all on fucking booze and stuff. Yeah, we had enough for gas money, but so we're hanging out at this Arby's, and we're talking to the people. We're like, hey, our car's broke down. We're not going to get picked up till tomorrow and stuff. Is it cool if we kind of hang around here? We're not loitering. We're just kind of stranded. And, a bunch of teenage employees at this Arby's are like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. So we're hanging out at the Arby's, and the Arby's closes, and, we, like, walk to a gas station to, like, get some cigarettes and stuff, and we're just kind of hanging around the Jeep, and, comes bedtime. Like I said, no hotel. Well, we ended up, the four of us, sleeping in a drainage ditch behind the Arby's in Dothan, Alabama. And I remember trying to sleep. I had this like this poncho, and it was camouflage, and I was just using that as like a blanket tent covering thing, whatever. I'm swatting mosquitoes off me the whole time I'm sleeping. Cause yeah, this is spring break, Southern Alabama. It's hot as shit, humid as shit. Swatting, we all wake up, we're disgusting as hell. We don't know what time. It was Dave Sargent. We don't know what time Dave Sargent is coming down to get us. So we're still just kind of hanging out. Comes in, picks us up. Not a word is fucking spoken the whole way home. He is fucking pissed because it's his day off and he has to drive a couple hours. Yeah, he's spent like 4 or 5 hours out of his day picking up a bunch of dumbass soldiers. Not a word is spoken. We pull up to the barracks. We get out. We're like, thank you, Sergeant. Get the fuck out, yes, Sergeant. Only words spoken the whole trip. Thank you, Sergeant. Get the fuck out of, yes, Sergeant. That was. So we're walking up, and I was like, I told Mike, I was like, dude, it's gonna cost a fucking arm and a leg to get your Jeep back. Why don't we just, we had a bunch of climbing rope and stuff. I was like, why don't we just, hop in my truck, let's get settled, get cleaned up, showered and stuff, hop in my truck, we'll drive down there, and I'll just tow you back up here. It was like a bunch of, there was highways, but then there was like back roads and stuff, and I was like, yeah, we could take, and I'm like really good with directions, so like if you show me something like once or twice, I pretty much know how to get there. So I just remembered, we got off on this exit and took this little 2-lane road, and that took us right up to the base. And so I was like, dude, we can hop in the truck and just, he's like, are you serious? Oh yeah. So we hop in the truck, we get showered up and stuff. We hop in the truck, we drive out there. I remember we were listening to Bloodhound Gang, One Fierce Beer Coaster the whole way down there. We just put it on repeat, and we're singing along and stuff and bullshitting and smoking and stuff and having a good time. And we get there, we tie up the truck and stuff, and all we had was climbing rope. We didn't have any tow straps or anything, but we used to go mudding all the time in the tank trails. And if somebody got stuck, we would use climbing rope to pull people out. It is fucking strong and stuff. So, and we were young and stupid. So So anyway, you know, we get him tied up. You know, he's all tied up to me and pulling him back, and everything's going fine. And we take the exit, and we're taking this 2-lane highway. Now, in it was either Georgia or Alabama. They might be both, but at this point, you know, it's a little blurry. I can't remember which state we were in. But on these 2-lane roads, they will have like a passing lane, and it'll be a few hundred yards when it'll go to a 4-lane road. So that way, if you're behind a slow motherfucker, you know, they can pull over and you can, you can pass them. So I could see behind Mike, and Mike's just sitting in his car, just like running the brake, basically. You know, running his brakes and steering. I could see in there that there's a car behind him. And I'm not going too fast. I had a little Ford Ranger that was a 4-cylinder. It didn't have any power. I remember I was driving from Georgia to Indiana and going through Tennessee. I was at the bottom of a hill doing like 70 and then go up this fucking, you know, mountain, whatever hill, big ass thing. And by the time I get to the top, I'm actually on the shoulder because I'm only doing 25. That's how strong this thing, you know, this engine was. I pulled over to the shoulder so people can whiz past me. So yeah, so I'm not going all that fast coming back. So I go over in the passing lane, and this car comes up, and it gets up like next to me, and it's like right between me and Mike. And it was this woman driving. And it was like, fuck, and I could see the lanes getting ready to end. And I was like, fucking pass me, pass me, pass me. She doesn't fucking pass. She stays right there. I was like, shit. And I can't get over because I got 2 cars and stuff. I can't, you know, so I like hit the brakes. Well, when I hit the brakes, it kind of wiggled a little bit. My car fucking, it like slingshot. My car spun around, or my truck spun around. All the ropes snapped. My truck spun around right in front of this woman, and I remember I'm going backwards. I had a stick shift, and I was slamming down on the clutch, and I whip around this woman. Now we're face to face, but facing different directions, but traveling the same direction. She goes whipping past me, and she's just looking at me like, what's going on? Slam on my brakes. I have the clutch in and stuff. Thankfully, it was a stick shift, because I would have whipped around like that. I would have fucked up my transmission. Slam on the brakes, slammed on the clutch, come to a stop. I get out the car. There's a stop sign right here. I have to like pull the truck up a little bit. So get out, and I am motherfucking this woman up and down. And motherfucking catch up to you, you fuck. Meanwhile, Mike, who has no power brakes, no power steering, no nothing, all the ropes snap, and he just cruising right along, just hitting the brakes. We get him tied back up. He was like, holy shit, I've never seen you so fucking mad. Like, you dumb fucking bitch, fucking. He goes, the look on her face, she looked over at you, she passed. I was still next to her. She looked over at me. She didn't know what the fuck was going on. All she had to do was fucking pass this fucking fuck. Get him tied up. All the ropes snap. So now, we have to like retie all the, we had one continuous rope. We had to tie all the sections off and stuff. So now it's just like this fucking, I don't know, like a goddamn, tied up with a bunch of goddamn friendship bracelets. Just these little loops that are going between his bumper and, whatever we hooked it to on mine. We get back to base. What should have been couple of hours ended up taking like 4.5 hours. We get back to base. Mike gets his truck or Jeep towed to the shop. Turns out, he didn't just crack his head. They actually were able to show him. There was like a automotive company. It was like Quality something, and it was a Q, and the little wiener that comes off the Q was like a goose or a duck in flight. I forget what, but it was like Quality something. The fucking blowout was almost exactly a replica of that logo. Just this circle cut out with just this foot, So yeah, it looked almost exactly like that. And the worst part was that Mike had just bought the car, and he dumbass didn't have fucking insurance on it. So it literally sat in the parking lot while he tried to save up to buy a new engine. By the time I got out of the Army, it was still sitting in the fucking parking lot. And this was like months later, like 8 months later. So the moral of the story is, there's a couple. One, if you're gonna go on a road trip, make sure there's a fucking back seat. 2, insure your car. And 3, make sure you have phone numbers of important contacts so you don't end up sleeping in a drainage ditch behind an Arby's in fucking Dothan, Alabama. That was my story of the spring breakdown. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys are enjoying the show. If you do, like, comment, share, all that good stuff. Let me know. I do this for fun. Like I say every time, if you have a story you want to tell, hit me up, PatriotPat_1776 on Twitter, on Instagram. Hit up JG's Lounge. That's him on all the socials. Hit him up. Yeah, we could get something together. Tell your story. Other than that, guys, like I say, we got one trip on this rock. Make the most of it and be nice to each other.